Hey YouTube, what's going on? My name is Andrew, and here with me is my friend Kent, and we're going to be starting a brand new channel today called Recovery Station. So basically, what we're going to be doing is just talking about life, talking about recovery, spiritual things, things of that nature. And Kent's going to get us started off today. Kent, why don't you introduce yourself to the people and tell them who you are?
I've been in recovery for 30 years as of April 1st. Um, I go to a program, it's called NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and I grew up in there. You'll hear more about that later.
Thanks, Kent. And I guess I should introduce myself too. I am also Andrew. I am also an addict. I am also in recovery. I'm also an NA. That's where Kent and I met. And and yeah, that's basically it. I don't really know. We're just kind of doing a little podcast, you know. We just kind of wanted to start a channel basically. We were doing some videos, potentially had some video ideas to throw them on my main channel. I do have another channel called Black Dragon Studios. Kent has his own channel. Kent, what's your channel called again? Dr. Kent Hopper, I think is what it is,
Yeah,
or
it's it's Dr. Kent Hopper. There's over 350 videos on there, over 1,000 subscribers. Trust me, if you have a question and you search it out, you'll find it on that station. There's recovery, there's spiritual stuff, there's religious stuff. And guess what? For us gamers, there's even gamer stuff there.
so there's a lot of stuff there on Kent's channel. Kent hasn't been posting lately though, so that's the problem. Like I honestly have I Kent used to post way back in the day, like every day. Sometimes you post multiple times a day, and I would just sit there and I would just watch Kent's videos like for hours at a time. But you know, life happens, things happen. We go offline for a bit. And this was just kind of an idea between Kent and I to just kind of bring this YouTube thing um, to maybe be able to share, I guess, in the YouTube experience a little bit where we could do something together and have it on a specific channel. So we've decided to, in the spirit of recovery, in the spirit of, we've decided to call the channel, what the hell did we decide to call the channel again? Recovery Station?
Recovery Station.
Recovery Station. It's my first day. It's our first day here, so don't make fun of me for forgetting. We literally just thought of that 5 minutes ago. And today, the topic Kent wanted to bring to the table is how to recover from the disease of addiction. Is that pretty much, am I saying that
Yep,
right?
that's
Uh,
correct. Yep.
you said something a little different before. It was probably,
Our topic's going to be recovering from a chronic disease in
yes,
recovery.
yes, recovering from a chronic disease in recovery. And okay, I'm I'm Kent Sponsy. I have 10 years clean. He's got he just celebrated 30 years clean. What was that in April? April
April 1st,
April
believe it or
1st.
not.
So, I'm going to let the big man get started with this topic today. How to recover from a chronic disease in recovery. Kent, let's hear your thoughts on that. How to recover
Well,
from a chronic disease in recovery.
it's not easy. And when you're in the grip of addiction, which is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and you can find that in the basic text. Um, you can go to na.org and you'll find all these books that I'm going to mention. Um, I suggest if you're coming into recovery and you have an addiction problem, it doesn't matter what addiction it is, because an addiction is an addiction is an addiction, period. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling, whether it's pornography, whether it's sex, whether it's drugs, whether it's prescription pills. It doesn't matter, because Narcotics Anonymous clearly states in Tradition 3 the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. So, how do I find that desire? Well, I found it by working my ass off, you know? And my first sponsor said to me, he said, how much effort did you put into using? I said, everything. He said, then if you put that into your recovery, you're going to stay clean. And in 1995, when I came into this program, I had attempted suicide 8 times. And let me tell you, I tried everything to stop, and nothing, and I mean nothing, worked until I came into Narcotics Anonymous and I met a bunch of drug addicts that are crazy like me and found a new way of life. And everything I'm saying can be found in our literature. If you want to know about this program, well, you go to na.org and you look up the pamphlets, the booklets. That's the easiest way to start. And if you know somebody that's in recovery, ask them to help you, because our steps are very simple. Step one, we admitted we're powerless over our addiction and our lives have become unmanageable. Step two, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step three, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. That is the whole key to my recovery, right there in a nutshell. Step one, two, three. And even today, we wake up in the morning and I say, am I an addict? Yes. Can I control it? No. Here, take it. A prayer doesn't have to be long winded and, all out of whack. I talk to my higher power just like I'm talking to you. He's my best friend. He also kicks my butt when I need it. you know. And if he doesn't do it, he has somebody do it for me, i.e., in a meeting. There's NA meetings all over the world. 75 different countries we're in. And it's not like it's going away anytime soon because it's been here since 1953. So, and there's addicts that suffer in these rooms. Life does suck donkey doo doo at times. It really does. Life is sucky sometimes. But I tend to do this. I don't look at my problem. Yes, I know I have a problem. I can't pay this bill. But you know what? At the end of the month, I'm going to be able to. So when these people start hounding me, I say, look, it's this way. That's the way it is. And that's all it is. And if they continue, I hang up. Because I'm not going to get myself upset over something I can't fix.
Right.
It's like in life. Okay, things happen. Okay, friends die, people die, close members die. It does. It does. We in recovery are allowed to show our feelings. See, I'm showing my feelings by getting excited. Recovery excites me. It's one of the most greatest topics that I love to talk about.
That's why we
You know,
started a channel on it.
yep.
It deserves a channel,
Recovery,
I think.
it does, because recovery is the only way any suffering addict can live.
Man,
Now, how do you go ahead?
if there's even one person that watches this video or any of the videos that we post and it saves their life and it causes them to go from, committing suicide to, you know, living a full healthy life, then we've done our job, haven't we?
Yeah,
You know? And that's
and
really all it's about, right? It's about
it is.
It's about coming into the room as a sick human being. When I come in, I'm sick, I'm hurt, I'm wounded. I don't know what direction I'm going in life, but it's not a good one. I stick around for a little while, I get healthy, and then I can start helping other people. We can start helping other people. And that's the whole process of it. We don't want any money in return for it. We're probably not going to monetize these videos. I don't know. Haven't even honestly thought about it yet. Just a free source of love coming from the higher power above to hopefully help carry the message that there is hope for people out there that are dying, that are sick from some type of an addiction, that there is an answer, there is a solution for you that does not involve jails, institutions, or death, but you have to want it. That's the only catch to this. You have to want it for yourself, right?
That's it. And the thing is, um, I spent years trying, stealing, manipulating, conniving, manipulating, uh, stealing, and just utterly crushing anybody around me that didn't like what I was doing. I had two words for them, and I guarantee you, it's not bless you, you know, because it's like this, you know. My drug was the most important thing. I lost two marriages, I lost a home, and I lost a business because of my addiction. If you're here and you feel that you might have an addiction, send us a message and we can listen and give you guidance. Neither one of us are doctors. So, we have no opinion on medical, physical, or emotional stuff. You know, we may be able to understand it, on a personal level. You may have gone through some of the stuff that we have. We'll be able to understand that. But we're not doctors. So we can't prescribe you medication.
We may not be
Okay.
doctors, but some doctors, I'm just going to say it, some doctors don't have as much knowledge as people in recovery do about recovery stuff.
No, they don't. And this is why, when you're looking for a doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor, you need to make sure that they understand. This is my addiction. Do you understand this addiction? And yeah, the stigma is, when people hear that you're an addict, they think of a person in the back alley with a needle sticking out of their arm. There's addicts that have never used that stuff. There's addicts out there who have never used anything more than prescription drugs or anything more than marijuana, cannabis, if you prefer. You know, so we're all addicts. And the definition of an addict is this: if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about is using, you probably have a problem.
Yep.
And this is where Narcotics Anonymous comes in. And if you're the liquid type, Alcoholics Anonymous. But you know what? I used anything I could get my hands on: liquid, prescription, street drugs, heavy drugs. It didn't matter. Anything that got me high, you know?
And I
And
just want to put,
trust,
sorry, you can't finish your thought. You can finish your thought.
trust me on this, folks, ladies and gentlemen. If you think you have a problem, that little minute bit, then you should talk to somebody. Talk to a friend that's in recovery. Don't talk to your girlfriend or your wife or your mom or your dad unless they're in recovery. Don't do that because they're not going to understand that. Addicts understand addicts. outside people outside the program don't have any clue what it's like to be an addict. You know, oh, there's three notions about what an addict is. But as I said when we first started this video, it doesn't have to be drugs. It doesn't have to be alcohol. There's all kinds of addictions,
Sex,
you know, sex, yep,
pornography,
pornography, yep,
money,
gambling,
money, yep, gambling.
gambling. Also, be aware of this. And this can be proven by looking online and looking up addictions. Okay. There are two things that are not usually mentioned: workaholic and explosive anger disorder.
Did you
That
say
can be an addiction.
workaholic? It cut out
Workaholic. Yeah,
workaholic.
workaholic, you know, or somebody who is suffering and doesn't know why. Talk to somebody in recovery. Don't be afraid of the stigma, you know, um, that you can't talk about your problems. What a load of horse hooey. Really is.
And I just want to say this one thing just to kind of bring light to the whole fact of like people might be out watching this video being like, you guys are talking about NA, you guys are talking about AA, you guys are supposed to be anonymous. That's not entirely true. Personal anonymity and anonymity for the program are two completely different things, okay? So people that are members of a 12-step fellowship are allowed to declare their membership except at the level of press, radio, and film. It does not mean that people can't go on YouTube and make a video on recovery. That's not what it's about. It's more about going like can you kind of
Yeah.
explain the whole premise of anonymity? Like people have what I'm trying to say is I'm not the best at explaining it, but people have a big misconception about anonymity where they basically their whole I've heard a lot of people say, well, you're not supposed to tell anyone you're in NA, you're not supposed to. Well, here's my argument on that. If I'm not supposed to tell anyone that I'm in recovery and I'm not supposed to share with people that I have the disease of addiction and that I've recovered from the disease of addiction, how the hell are people supposed to know that there's hope out there, that there's help out there for them?
Let me take
Answer
you,
me that question.
yep. Let me take you to tradition 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. I can tell anybody I want that I'm in Narcotics Anonymous. Andrew can tell anybody he wants that he's in Narcotics Anonymous. However, if I say so and so and so and so is in there too, that's where anonymity is a problem because you're breaking their anonymity. I'm allowed to break my anonymity. I'm allowed to do that. And as a matter of fact, I am proud as a peacock that I'm in Narcotics Anonymous. Because, folks, when I came into Narcotics Anonymous, I wanted to die. I was going to buy a gun and blow my head off. I was. I attempted suicide 8 separate times because I wanted to die. I wanted this to stop, and the drugs weren't doing it. So I needed to find a way to make this stop. And you know what? Narcotics Anonymous saved my life. It did. Because when I came in here, I was lost. I was in an abyss and I seen a glimmer of light and I went toward that light, and that light was Narcotics Anonymous. I tried quitting on my own. I tried this, I tried that, this drug and that drug. It just, nothing stopped the pain. And I'll tell you, the reason I used was because I didn't want to feel the pain of my past, the abuse, the physical, emotional, and psychological. And yes, I was even raped. So I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't. One, I was never taught how. And two, I didn't care to relive that. But I had to. In order to recover, I had to do anything I could to recover. I mean, come on, folks. If you're an addict, you know this. You did anything to get that drug,
Anything to get
including
that drug.
break. Yep, including anything, including risking jail, institutions, and in some cases, maybe even death.
There's 2 points I want to make. Hopefully I can remember both of them off of what you just said and what we were just talking about earlier. So basically, the point I'm trying to say about the anonymity thing is we are not, Kent and I, we do not represent the program of Narcotics Anonymous. We did not invent the program Narcotics Anonymous. So don't think that we are Narcotics Anonymous. We are just in Narcotics Anonymous and want to share about that. That is allowed. But the next point that I'm going to say, um, this is what drugs made me do, okay? This is what drugs asked of me. Drugs asked of me to risk my entire life, throw away all my relationships, spend all of my money, even money that was supposed to be allocated for bills, for personal health, for clothing, things like that. It asked me to do things that I would never have done if I was sober, if I was thinking clearly. But I did all those things because I needed to get my fix. I needed to get high to forget and feel better about my life. In recovery, they ask us to read a book. They ask us to go to a meeting. They ask us to pick up the phone and call someone. Oh, that's so hard to do at first, isn't it? All those things that are so hard to do, those are the reasons that drive a lot of people back out to using again. Those crazy, crazy notions like reading a page out of a book or dialing a phone number, a 9-digit phone number, easily become the hardest things we've ever done in our life. I'm just kind of trying to say how it's funny how addicts are, right? Like we will go to the ends of the earth and back in our using to get that drug. To get that one little hit, I would walk across town on a cold rainy day to get that hit. But when I get into recovery, I cannot bear the thought of picking up that 1,000-pound phone off the freaking floor to call my sponsor so that I can stay clean that day. It's funny how an addict's mind works. That's all I'm trying to say. It's funny the
Yes,
length we go to the ends of the earth and back to get our drug, and we have to do the same thing in recovery. We learn that if we want to stay clean, if we want to overcome that demon, we got to be willing. It doesn't say we have to, it says we have to be willing to go to the ends of the earth and back, the same as we would for the drug, the same in recovery to stay clean. That's all I'm trying to say.
that's right. And
You
my
cannot,
first,
like, how many people can't come into the program, say, oh, this doesn't work? But they haven't done anything. They're in the program for like a week or a month. They didn't do any steps. They didn't call any sponsors. They didn't go to any meetings. But the program of 12-step program, any one, name it, whatever you want it to be, doesn't work for me. Well, they're all the same. Newsflash. All the 12-step programs are the same. Just pick one that is closest to what you can relate to the most. Whether it be alcohol, gambling, narcotics, they're all the same. The 12-step programs are all the same. They all work the same. They all operate the same. They're all free to attend. They're all the same. You know, I know people that have 50 years clean in AA. I know people that have 50 years off gambling in GA. And I know people that have 50 years clean in NA, all using the same damn 12 steps. One, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction and that our life had become unmanageable. Step two, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Doesn't say we will, because I'm still pretty crazy. Ken's still pretty crazy, although he wouldn't admit it. No, he would admit it. And step three, became why the hell am I blanking on step three all of a sudden? Because I'm pressuring. I'm feeling the pressure of the camera. Became willing to have God. No,
We became willing to.
turn my will and my life over to the care of God as we understood Him. Became willing to turn my life over to the care of God as we understood Him. Why the hell am I blanking on step three? Ken? Help me out here.
Well, step three is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Came to believe.
And the important thing is
And I just want to
it
say
doesn't.
before you continue,
Mhm.
recovery don't mean that we're going to all of a sudden have this insane crazy memory. Okay? There's a lot of shit that we forget. That's why we do it with other people, not doing this recovery bit alone. But Kent, what were you going to say?
Well, you see, when a person comes into recovery, they don't even know themselves.
Mm.
And I can remember that because my sponsor asked me just after I came into the program, he said, who are you? I just shrugged my shoulders at him. I had no clue. I didn't. You know, today I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a husband, I'm a miserable SOB. Yeah. Um, I'm stubborn, I'm pig headed, you know, I have a bad temper. Yep, that's me. But you know what? I've learned to be able to control my bad habits. Because when I first came into Narcotics Anonymous, if you cross me, you're lucky if you didn't get a punch in the mouth. Plain and simple. And I come across the table at you, which I've done, you know? And you know what? It's like, I don't put up with bullshit. Never have, and I never will, you know? Because why? Because I don't need negativity in my life. If you wanted to be a negative ninny, get lost. Because I don't need you dragging me down to your muck and mire. I have my own muck and mire I got to deal with. I'm dealing with yours too. You know, it's that simple. Recovery is simple. One addict helping another without parallel. All the steps, well, not all of them, 1 through 11 start with we. Step 12, after having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to other addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And as I said, life can be full of horse manure and full of a lot of manure. A lot of bad stuff happens in life. But I've learned to deal with that. I've gone through the death of my mother, the death of my dad, the death of my sister, and not one of those 3 times was my first thought, I need to get a drug. My first thought was, I need to call my sponsor and I need to get to a meeting. You know, there's 3 keys in this program that will work the best: meetings, contact with other people, and working your steps when you're ready. Okay. It's not something you have to do right away. You know, when I work with my sponsees, the first thing I show them is who is an addict. You are an addict. I am an addict. And then I show them about sponsorship. And then I take them through the basic text, starting with our symbol. And I love what it says. The 4 points of the pyramid rise to the point of freedom, starting with self, society, service, and God. That's the key, folks. You know, and I quit some heavy stuff, man. I did. And I did it
I don't know if you
because
want to be specific, Kent, but we can be specific, I think. You
no,
want.
no, no, no. I'm not going to be specific because we keep it. Uh, you know, don't talk about um, the
That's
substance. Talk about the addiction. Okay, and
that's in a meeting though. We're not in a meeting. We're just out cuz we could be we're just having a conversation really, man. Like we're not bound by by any rules or any the only thing we're bound by in this room is the terms and conditions of YouTube.
well, I understand that. It's just I don't believe in getting into a drug-a-log. Now, if you want to ask me directly what it was, I'll tell you.
I'm asking you directly cuz I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Well, I was addicted to heroin and cocaine, and
That's some fucking heavy shit, man.
I was doing uh 30 30 cc's to 100 cc's per day in each arm.
Now there's a guy like me watching you out there goes, "Oh, I only smoke weed." Well, guess what? That was
You're
my
still an
drug of
addict.
choice. Guess what?
You're still
That
no,
was my drug of choice.
still an addict. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is have a puff or spark up one, guess what? Check out IP number 7 on na.org and look at those questions and answer them honestly. You'll see,
Well,
you know,
I'm gonna add to what you just said. There's two ways a drug could be defined. We have the street out there on the streets. How street people, I say street people as in like people that are not in Narcotics Anonymous, define drugs, and we have the NA definition of what is a drug. What is a drug as defined by Narcotics Anonymous, Kent?
what is a drug? Well,
Any
any mood,
mind.
any mood, mind altering substance. Okay. And yes, I know, you know, cannabis is a legal drug now, but
But
as
it's natural. It's not a drug. It's natural.
what it is. And I'll tell you this, they use it for cancer patients for a reason. Okay. Because it numbs the pain. However,
Kent, if it's not a drug, then why could I not live my life without the damn shit for over a decade? It was all I could think about. It was all I spent my money on, and I spent money I didn't have on it. I sold drugs to get more of it. How is that not a drug?
yeah, that's exactly
I
it.
went to jail for it.
Yep.
I lost everything because of it. But you're going to tell me that's not a drug?
Well, that's what some people think. And I'll tell you, I read it this way: anything that screws with my mind or messes with my mood, that is something I am not touching. And for your information, those out there who think they think that cannabis is not a hard drug, well, tell me this. Why is it out of all the drugs out there, heroin, cocaine, barbiturates, pills, prescriptions, like Percocets and morphine, why is it that cannabis is the longest to come out of your system? Tell me, seriously, if it's good for you, Why does it take so long to come out of your system?
If it's
Heroin.
not if it's not a drug, then cocaine's not a drug either, right? Because cocaine comes from the cocaine plant or whatever the hell it's called, and that's natural, right? So it's not a drug. Then I can just go out and snort cocaine, right?
Well, you could if you want to blow your mind, and I don't mean in a good way, because you may as well go take a
Heroin's natural. It comes from
yeah,
a
well,
flower.
it,
I may as well just shoot it
electricity.
in my arm, right?
Electricity is natural too, but nobody's really going to take a screwdriver and stick it in a live fuse panel.
But it's natural.
Oh yeah, it's naturally going to die, you know. And that's exactly what heroin and cocaine and cannabis and all this other stuff does to you. It causes problems, you know. And why would you want to put drugs or chemicals in your body? I mean, seriously, why don't you just go drink some bleach or some Drano and be done with it? You know, or take a gun and blow your head off. Finish it. Don't be a chicken about it. You
Yeah.
know, you know.
It's all just a matter of perspective. In the end, at the end of the day, if you choose to see it, it's if you choose to believe that these things are not drugs, then that's your choice. But the fact of the matter is, if I don't believe there's a wall in front of me, a brick wall, and there is, and I choose to run into the brick wall head first, I'm responsible for what happens when I do that. No one else.
And see,
That's all I'm trying to say.
I like using this scenario. You're in a car. You're going down the highway. You see a detour. Do you run through the detour or you go around it?
You
You're
go
running
around
down
it.
the road,
You go
and
around
all
it.
of a sudden, there's this big, huge cement wall in front of you. Now, you may be psychotic or delusional if you think that your car, unless it's an old car, and I'm talking 50s and back, might be able to do that. But cars today doing that, well, you're going to end up with your face in the cement. Because most cars today have what's called crush zones. In other words, they just crumple. And it's like kaboom, you know?
They don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't,
Today they're
you
all
know?
plastic.
It's actually fiberglass, but yeah. Um, and so I really hope you enjoyed this. If you want more of this conversation, come join us.
Click the
Um,
subscribe button, man.
yep, hit the subscribe button,
It's free
hit
to
the like
subscribe.
button, send us a comment. You know,
We'll leave
if there's a
links.
topic, yep, if
We'll
there's a
leave
topic
links
you
under the
want us
video.
to, yep, if there's a topic that you want to talk about, send it in the comments, and yeah, we're willing to take on just about anything.
That's all
After
this
all,
that's all this channel is going to be is just recovery talk. So
yep,
any comments that have suggestions of what you guys want us to talk about, we're more than happy to do it because we will eventually get writer's block. There will be
well,
days if the more videos well, here's the thing. With Kent, there's rarely ever going to be a writer's block, but you never know. And there might be a topic that we don't think of
yeah,
that someone out there needs to hear.
most definitely.
Put it in the
You know,
comment section.
absolutely. You know, we welcome your comments. You know, we welcome your input. It's going to help the channel grow. And we want to see this channel hit 1,000 subscribers in about 2 months. Let's do that.
That's
You
wishful
know,
thinking, as I would love that more than anything.
and I think it's feasible because I remember my YouTube channel. when I started it. I had 5 subscribers. Today on that channel, we have over 1,000 subscribers.
We'll leave links to both of our personal channels in the comments.
There is meetings on na.org, and I'm involved with a meeting. If you contact me directly, I would be more than willing to share that link with you. As we said, we're just starting. This is our first thing, so we're looking for ideas. Well, I'm not. He is.
You're
He's looking
well,
for ideas.
I'm
You
not
know,
saying that we're going to run out of ideas, but I guess what I was trying to say is we might want to talk about one thing, whereas someone else might want to hear something completely different, right? Like we
yes.
might want to talk about step 9 and somebody's like wanting to hear about honesty that day or something like that, for
Actually,
example.
um, if you add me on WhatsApp, okay, um, I have step work that I do, and I have text and literature that I do. So if that's something you're interested in, contact me. I'm more than willing to bring you in, and I'm more than willing to share where I go and my history. However, um, there is limits because, as Andrew knows, I'm a very private person when it comes to meeting you at first. You know, I don't share every detail because some of the stuff can scare people.
Well,
Some of the stuff I did.
that's not what it's about anyways. We're not
Yeah.
here to find out what you did in your life.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about me. You know.
Yeah, I know, but like the other people is what I mean. Like we're like they're like recovery is not about finding out what Kent Hopper did in his life. He's gonna tell you eventually. The longer you get to know someone in recovery, the more they're gonna tell you. But like to if you're just intending to meet Kent to get his personal life information, he's gonna know and he's not gonna tell you. Like that's not what
Well,
we're here for.
I have all kinds of those emails, and my two favorite buttons are block delete. So be aware.
Will we leave your WhatsApp in, or will they just get it from you by contacting you in the email?
Yeah, you can get it by contacting me. Yeah, you can put my WhatsApp in there. That's fine.
So
Um,
okay, so we'll leave Kent's WhatsApp there in the description if you guys want to get a hold of Kent. We'll leave
and
mine as well in case you want to get a hold of me.
and to let you know, um, in the very near future, I'm going to be starting videos again on my channel.
Yeah, Kent's just got to
Uh,
get his green screen. We're out working. We've been working on that for a little while, but it's just delayed right now. Uh, we're
no-
gonna get Ken his
and
green screen working.
and and this is what I need right here. You know, and I don't have it. So
Sunshine.
it takes a bit. No money.
Cash
You
flow.
know,
Should we leave a donation link for the channel in case people want to donate to keep this channel rolling? Do you want to start like a channel fund or something like that? Or
not right now. We'll see how it goes.
all right.
You know. All right, folks. I'm gonna get out of here. The wife's yelling at me. She's saying, "I want your time." She just come home from work. So listen, y'all. I love you, and if nobody told you today, I love you. Okay,
We love you.
and that's what's the most important thing. Okay. All right, folks. You all have a good one.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next week.
See
All
y'all
right.
next week.
Ciao.
Until next time.